Give me just a simple life, free from fear, free from strife. One where I can do my part, share with the world my loving heart. Every evening go to bed, gratitude and sweet dreams in my head, knowing that I spent my day atching, smashing what I say. A little stress I can handle, like break a strap on my sandal. Bigger problems not so bad, remember all the good I've had. All my problems big and small will respond to my call. Peace is all I really see, the simple life is for me. If you ask your God to help, I know He will. Open yourself up to the guidance, I know she will. Whether you're stuck in the mud or climbing up a hill, the two of you, a winning team, peace and success supreme. If you ask your higher power to help you make it through the hour, trust the answers always come, like the morning rising sun. All our problems, big and small, will respond to our call. Peace is all we really see, the simple life for you and me. Peace is all we really see, the simple life for you and me.
Wow, that is so awesome. It's like a love letter to yourself, but it's also your commitment to the team, right? The team of you and your higher power. So sweet, and you just know how to pinch hit, don't you, Michael? So Michael just stepped in at the last minute because Sandra was not feeling well, and so what a gift that was. I hope it was a gift for you, too. It's certainly a gift.
It was.
So we're affirming that was all in divine order. It's great to see you, Michael, and what a wonderful message. So my name is Dana. It's my honor privilege to be here, and our guest speaker today is Reverend Kris Broderhausen. Thank you for being here. It's good to see you. It's always good to have you back. And her talk title today is I Am That I Am. So say that to yourself as we go into prayer. I am that I am. Sweet Spirit, we proclaim that I am. We proclaim our spiritual identity. I am one with the Christ nature. I am one with all that is. I am one with this huge, magnificent, universal power, universal potential. Just hold that in your heart center. I am one with all that is. And just imagine yourself taking that spiritual, powerful presence and sending it out to the world, that presence that is light, that is love, that is peace. That presence that is you, yet it is powered by a source beyond you. So we just see that powerful energy going across our globe, renewing lives, bringing hope, bringing light. And that light is so beautiful. And so it is. Amen.
Time for meditation, correct? Fill me with your love, God, this love I may share. Fill me with your peace, God, this peace I may share. Yes, we'll walk in love and peace, and with all we share. Fill me with your love, God, this love I may share. Fill me with your peace, God, this peace I may share. Yes, we'll walk in love and peace, and with all we share.
Well, let us take this opportunity to go within to where that feeling takes place. Beloved Spirit, we open our hearts and we ask that you help us empty out anything that is less than love. And we open our hearts so wide because our hearts are thirsty, thirsty for your truth, thirsty for your life. Thirsty always for your guidance and your inspiration. So as we open our reservoirs of love, gently fill us. We can imagine that we were like a tall silo, being used for the first time. It must be filled. But ours every day becomes used. And as we love every day, it automatically fills once more. There is no emptiness when we invite God in. So we take this opportunity to speak gently to our very own soul. And to our soul we say, I am. That's who I am. I am. I am come to do my life. I'm come to do my work. And I come to you open that you can do your work through me, through my hands, through my offerings, through my desire to pour out truth and love. So we'll take a moment in the silence, holding our empty vessel and knowing that it will be filled, as always, with the truth and the life and the love of God. What a special moment it is for us when we ask to be filled. When gifts of love are given, and when we are receptive and completely open to that which God has for us. And so in this moment we ask, Lord, help me this day to give as much as I can give, to shine as much light as is needed, to be present for anyone who wants to be in my presence, and to just be a little light of God that can make someone else's day a little better. So thank you, Lord, for filling me. And thank you for filling this room and everyone in this room. And thank you for filling the outer limits where people from so many places can ask to be filled too. We are so grateful, and we say amen.
Have you noticed when you sing a humble little tune that folks almost instinctively want to sing along? Hearts are seeking harmony, this I know is true. Reaching out to other hearts is what I love to do. One tiny candle can light a darkened room. A little spark of loving light can chase away the gloom. A smile reveals the love inside to chase away the dark. Here's an opportunity to share your little spark. Touch your lighted candle to the wick of another. Share the light you radiate to sister and to brother. A friendly smile, a touch, a hug can chase away the gloom. One tiny candle can light a darkened room. The world is full of fragile hearts, lost and frightened too. You can help their loneliness, it's quite easy to do. Reaching out in openness is sure to pave the way. A simple sign of friendliness will brighten up their day. One tiny candle can light a darkened room. A little spark of loving light can chase away the gloom. A smile reveals the love inside to chase away the dark. Here's an opportunity to share your little spark. Touch your lighted candle to the wick of another. Share the light you radiate to sister and to brother. A friendly smile, a touch, a hug can chase away the gloom. One tiny candle can light a darkened room. Let's sing that again. One tiny candle can light a darkened room. A little spark of loving light can chase away the gloom. A smile reveals the love inside to chase away the dark. Here's an opportunity to share your little spark. Touch your lighted candle to the wick of another. Share the light you radiate to sister and to brother. A friendly smile, a touch, a hug can chase away the gloom. One tiny candle can light a darkened room. Yeah, one tiny candle can light a darkened room. Good singing.
No. Now it's on. Thank you. All right. So let us hold the vision of a peaceful end to the violence in all nations. Let us hold that thought. That's okay. We're holding that thought. So I invite you to share in Unity's statement for peace as soon as we can, as soon as we have those words up there. But as we do this, it's important to always remember that we give this with intention, right? We state this in a way that we're seeing that happening as we state it. And it's, unity isn't typically one for a lot of ritual because it tends to be become sort of mechanized or rote. And so it's a good reminder to pause and really think about sending out that ideation of a new way to be in the world. We haven't figured that out yet, have we? How to not be at war. Perhaps it comes from not being at war inside ourselves. And what does that look like when we become so intentional that we, to me, I think it's like we have to be able to look at each other and see the humanity in each other so that we no longer have to label people as other than or label people as an enemy or. So yeah, let's think about that. Here we go. Together, I stand for peace in the presence of conflict, for love in the presence of hatred, for forgiveness in the presence of injury. I honor the many names for God, the many paths to God, the many ways to worship God. For there is one power and presence of God, and that God loves each one of us equally. I stand for my peace in my lifetime. It is therefore my position to urge all nations, their leaders, and their people to turn to God by whatever name for guidance during these challenging times, and to pursue peace, not war, for this is what honors the God of all our faith traditions. So thank you, Byron, for giving us that pause, because that felt much more intentional to me, and I hope it did for you as well. So now let us just stand and be those beaming light presence. Beam your light out to those who are here. We see the beauty of the Christ, the peace of a Christ, the love of the Christ in each being. And for those who are not here personally, we honor that divine in you as well. And we invite you to consider yourself in the community of seekers, the community of light makers, as we know that truth for each and every one of us. Thank you.
Looking back on a little boy, never gave him a chance to ever be more. I didn't love him, but I'm gonna love him right now and forever. It's time to push open the door. Pardon my imposition, but this is my conviction. Ain't nothing left to hold me down. No. I gotta be me, gotta be I, gotta be who I know I am inside. Can finally breathe, taking it in. Look at me flying. It's always been there, it just took me a minute to find it. If I were to be anybody else, I'd just be hiding who I am, who I am. It's always been there, it just took me a minute to find it. Who I I gotta be me.
Good day to you all. I was really taken by that song. I thought you would be too. Sandra was going to learn it. She couldn't find the music, but she could find the chords. And so she was prepared to just use those chords and sing it by memory. And then she suggested we do this, and that seemed quite perfect. That was another sensation from American Idol. No, America's Got Talent. An audition from America's Got Talent. Quite a song, quite a song. At a party, a young wife had admonished her husband, "Honey, that's the 4th time you've gone back for cake and ice cream. Doesn't that embarrass you?" Says, "Why should I? I kept telling him it was for you." Every time a little boy went to a playmate's house, he found his friend's grandmother deeply engrossed in her Bible. And finally, he got the better of him, and he said, "Why do you suppose your grandmother reads the Bible so much?" "I'm not sure," said his friend, "but I think she's cramming for her final." I'm not really talking about who I am, but it doesn't matter because it still starts a little bit with my story, which you already know anyway. But, by the time I was 22, I had 2 kids. I'd been married 3 years. I had kind of quit going to church for the most part, and I didn't know who I was. I still didn't know who I was. In fact, it's taken most of my life to figure out who I am. And I imagine if that is the way it is for me, that's probably the way it is for a lot of people. Some people are so passionate about what they do that you know who they are immediately. I mean, like Michael and his songwriting, you get to know that's such a deep and beautiful part of who he is. And but I remember the first time I did go to a Unity church, and I don't remember what was taught that day, but I know it felt like home. And then I remember as I kept going to church, I kept getting something that I'd never had before, truth that I could use in my life. And it was just so amazing to me when I found out that my thoughts are so important and that with my thoughts I can change anything. And I became so passionate about practicing these principles that it was like my daily work, practicing the things that I heard on Sunday, going home and figuring out if they work. And I never found anything that didn't work, but everything took practice. In the old life, in fact, even in part of that new life, when I started practicing, I used to call myself terrible things. I used to call myself stupid, crazy. You ever call yourself names when you're just, "Oh, you stupid thing, you can't even put that together"? But that was a regular part of my life, this name-calling thing, or shaming of my body because I didn't think that it was good enough. There's just so many ways that we can do that and push ourselves away from the truth. And as hard as we try to keep our thoughts in check, we'll find ourselves sometimes thinking a thought and thinking, where the heck did that come from? So when we lose guard, when we get off our guards, something else can come in there. Is it something else? Not really. It's kind of attached to us. Comes in there and starts causing us all kinds of trouble. Well, here's just a little segue. It was in 1895 that the Fillmores first put in their Unity publication, the newsletter. It said Unity, and then the subtitle was Practical Christianity. Well, people wrote in when they heard that, and they says, okay, so are you Christian Science? Are you Divine Science? Are you Mental Science? What exactly are you? And the reply was, we are not attached to any school or teaching. It is not formulated. Our teaching is not formulated. We are guided by the Spirit of truth. We have readers among all schools of thought, and we find good in them all. We cannot say that we are an exponent of any. If our doctrine were nameable, we would prefer to call it practical Christianity. And a little aside in this book just said practical Christianity was the teaching of Jesus correctly interpreted. But Lowell Fillmore said, it is applying the truths taught in the Bible, especially the teachings of Jesus, in a very practical way. Now, I found this quite exciting because anytime you call about I miss practicality, let me tell you. That is one of my gifts to life, is being a very practical person. I don't know how it really serves me, but I'm practical. I mean, so quickly sometimes I can just ixnay a thought because it's just not the practical response. But two things it meant to me at the time that I heard it, and one was that we teach the Gospels according to the most usable, approachable way, and how those teachings kind of affect our life right now, how we are. And it also meant that these truths had to be practiced, truly practiced in order to really be known. Practical, after all, means of or concerned with the actual doing or use of something rather than its theory and ideas. So we know what some of these principles are. They used to always list 5 basic principles of unity, and we know that one of them is prayer and meditation, one of them is I am one with the universe, I am one with God. You know, it's all of this beautiful, beautiful stuff then that we went into the teachings, and we found there was just so much food, so much information for us to change our lives by. Now, the mind is a powerful tool. Myrtle Fillmore says, the mind is powerful, and the body and its functions respond readily and fully to the bidding of the mind. All action takes first in the realm of mind. Now, we've always said everything is created twice, first in the mind and then in manifestation. In Proverbs it says, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he in mind, body, and affairs. Whoa. So the conditions of our life are the result of our thinking. Now, it's really hard to hear that sometimes. You know, if we have a condition like cancer, we got to look at ourselves and say, I caused this cancer. Well, I don't think that that's for us to do. I don't think that that's what this is about. However, if we do have an illness, we have to find a way to teach our body that it is healthy. And we can do that in lots of different ways. I talk to myself. You know, I talk to myself all the time about, I talk to my thoughts. I talk to the thought that gets in there and messes things up, as well as the one that knows the truth. Myrtle tells the story of a woman who wrote to her, and she was feeling a lot of sadness and distress, and she knew that she had done really bad things, and she felt she had to suffer for it. So Myrtle says, so long as you consider yourself a child of the flesh as being sinful, you will bind yourself and limit yourself. What good does it do for you to feel sinful and await suffering? You must stop thinking of yourself as a sinner. God did not create you wicked and sinful. God created you in God's own image, perfection. God's own image and likeness, the image of perfection. I have lots of quotes from Myrtle today. I love this woman, but she had very much the same passion as I did in certain areas. So they're all short, though. One manifest world corresponds, our manifest world corresponds with our inner world of thought. So when we want to change a condition, we begin by disciplining our minds and hearts and bringing every thought, desire, impulse into perfect step with the Master Christian Jesus. By disciplining our minds and hearts and bringing every thought and desire into perfect step with the Master Jesus, the Master Christian Jesus. I love that way of saying it too. And here's another small one. You must refuse to open the door to your mind to any anxious, negative, or negative thought. You cannot let these thieves and robbers of your health and peace of mind come in. So do you ever find yourself in the middle of a thought that's destructive? And do you catch yourself in that moment and turn it around and make it so it's not? Well, good for you. This is wonderful. I guess the real trick is when we can do it all the time, when we can do it every time, when we're deciding every moment of our day how we're doing. We're checking on it all so often that we're always in that place of catching. But I think that getting pretty near to Mother Teresa by the time we do something like that. Speaking of Mother Teresa, by the way, I watched a documentary. I don't remember the actual name of it. It was the documentary of Mother Teresa put out by the Knights of Columbus, and it was published, I think, in 1922, so it's new. And it showed a lot of stuff about the Sisters of Charity, the missionaries of charity, I think is the way she called herself at first, and about the people that knew Mother Teresa and what it was like to be around her. And it showed so many pictures of her beautiful smile as she smiled and loved people. Now, Mother Teresa was real clear about who she was. She was real clear about her purpose in life. And it comes from Matthew 25, verse 40. Whatever you did for the least of these, my brothers and sisters, you did it for me. One of the sisters said, Mother said you could sum it up on one hand. You did it for me. Why am I helping this man? I did it for you. And she's always talking about doing it for Jesus. She said, why am I helping you? I'm helping you because when I look at your face, I see Jesus. And she would say that to everyone, and she would help everyone understand they were more than what they've done. They were more than the nakedness that they showed in that moment. They were more than the leprosy that was on their skin. They were children of God, and she saw each person as a child of God. Now, the sisters, some of the sisters went to Brazil, I think, in the mid-90s. And when they got there, there was a lot of trouble with drugs and guns as a result of drugs, and a lot of addiction. And the nuns said, Mother, you wouldn't believe it, but they're shooting guns. And it makes us afraid to go out on the streets. And she says, I will come. And so she came to Brazil, stayed about a year. And while she was there, she went to the sisters and she says, now take me to these gang members that have these guns. I want to talk with them. And so they took her to the place, and there were bullets being fired when they were approaching the building. And they got up and Mother knocked on the door. And as she knocked on the door, this very big man with a very big gun slung over his shoulder answered the door, says, what do you want? And Mother says, I want to come in and talk with you. And he says, woman, I got business here. And she must have said who she was and what their work was, because pretty soon he said, Mother, you must be a saint. Because, well, no, she says, yeah, I need to come in there because I have business here too. And so he says, Mother, you must be a saint because, but I tell you this one thing. you can come in and do your business, but I'm going to have to keep doing my business here too. You just need to understand that. I'll be doing my business too. And so she accepted that. That was their agreement with each other. He would do his business, and she would talk to him about, I don't know what she talked to him about, probably that they were more than the things that they were doing, that they too were children of God. But anyway, he said, I will tell you this, I will protect your sisters. And they lived and went back and visited there every day for a year, and they were never harmed. But then there was another really moving story told by this man who was in prison, and I don't remember what he did, but it doesn't really matter. He was serving time, and he had grown up with a very harsh father. He had grown up with the belief that God was an angry, judgmental God, and that he wasn't worth anything, and there was no reason to even think about God because he could never measure up anyway. And then one day a guard came by and he says, hey, guess who we're bringing in here? We're bringing in Mother Teresa. And he says, great, who's that? And he says, look her up. So he looked her up, and he realized all the wonderful work that she was doing, and he read about her service, and then she came, and she talked to him as if he was the only person in the world, and she told them that he was a beautiful child of God, and that, you know, he was worthy of all the love in the world. And when she looked into his eyes, she saw the face of Jesus. And he says, and when she left, I was a changed man. He says, I wanted to know that God that's filled with love, that God that knows that I'm more than things that I've done. That's the God I want to know. That is what Mother Teresa brought to everyone she met. Now, if she were to come here today, I think she'd be talking about love. I think she'd be talking about seeing Jesus inside your face. And if the Lord Buddha were to come here today, I'm sure he would be talking about enlightenment. He would be talking about the middle path. And if Eckhart Tolle was to come today, I'm sure he would be talking about the present moment. But if I were to come here today, I would be talking about the law of mind action, because that is my passionate power in unity. And I remember one day telling Rich, I think I only have one talk. and it's about the power of our mental thinking, and how important it is for us to change our thoughts, and how important it is to wake up and listen to our thoughts. How important it is for us to teach our children about this wonderful, wonderful law. I was standing in a room one day with a young girl who had been in a lot of trouble, and she had been sexually assaulted. She had been a victim of racial prejudice, and she was having such a hard time with her extreme sadness, and every day she woke up sad, and every day she went through all this sadness. And so I told her, I said, I really don't think we can change those things that we're feeling unless we stop thinking about the things that are hurting us. And so we talked a little bit about how to hold your thoughts. In fact, she was so interested. She says, well, how do I do that? And I'm thinking, you know what? This is what I want to do. I want to give my one talk to the ones that really want it, to the ones that are starving for it, to the ones that need it. So I may not have to come back here anymore. You know too much. You know how when you're going through life, things might be going really easy and sweetly for you. It's like nothing could go wrong in this moment. We had a few days like that on our journey, and we talked about how it's interesting how these days flow. But Myrtle says, when you keep your mind filled with thoughts of praise and thanksgiving, love and faith, you become a magnet that's irresistible to attract every good and soul-satisfying thing. But then we all go through other periods too. It's like when we're sick, it's kind of the hardest thing to try to heal yourself, right? Because you don't feel good enough to do anything. It's sometimes when I'm sick, I don't feel good enough to pray. And it's like, but when it comes to our thinking, and we find ourselves going down the wrong road, if we don't correct that, then we're not going to heal as well. So it's really important for us to correct that. Myrtle says, your salvation must come first through right thinking, through mind. You must protect your mind substance from being sullied by adverse thoughts. And we can't do that if we're not paying attention. We can't do that if we're not paying attention. Have you find yourself in the middle of a fight with somebody or a squabble with somebody and realize, oh, we don't need to squabble about this? What's there to squabble about? You know, I used to like engage in stuff like that, thinking, oh, you know, it's like a little shove here, little shove there, shove back and forth, and well, pretty soon your day doesn't end up so good. Your day is kind of taken over this negative aura. You know, I think it's really funny that I enjoy puzzles so much. I like to do crossword puzzles. I like to do jigsaw puzzles, stuff like that. And I think that it's because for the same reason that I love figuring out the right thoughts for the right things and why something didn't work and stuff like that. But, you know, they're kind of ambivalent for me because I love the mystery, but I don't like being stuck. You know, I just love the mystery. But, you know, we came here without an owner's manual, and so we get stuck. But we've got each other. You know, we can have some deeper conversations with one another about, hey, I'm stuck in my thinking, and I can't get such and such off my mind. You got any suggestions? Hey, why not talk to each other like this? Isn't that what best friends do? And people that you really care about do for each other? I help them bring out the best in you. But sometimes when we get this wonderful idea and we just think that it's just the best thing, somebody all of a sudden comes by and just shoots it right down. They start talking negative about it, or they start asking you questions about money and priorities and doing all of these things that just kind of make you a little irritable. And, you know, instead of supporting you in what you want, you know, it's like, that's all I need to hear is another negative thought, and I think I'll scream. But, you know, sometimes that just happens because we live in a world of duality. Now, just because we live in a world of duality doesn't mean that we have to cower to it. It doesn't mean, you know, if part of our mind is playing the villain, is playing the sabotager, I don't think that's even a word, but if they're trying to sabotage your dream, they're not doing it on purpose. They're really trying to help you. But we don't have to get upset or have anything tweak in our lives. All we have to do is find the truth and insert that into our lives. You know, let somebody else have their opinion. It's okay. They can have it. You know, I know that this is exactly what I need to be doing right now, and I just don't feel like I owe an explanation to anybody for that. What we need to do, I think, is treat our difficulties and not our difficulties, but our thoughts, and manage them like we might manage money in a high-interest bank account. You know, if we're managing them, it's because we value them. We know they're going to produce wonderful results for us. See, the bank vault is our life. It's our life. And we have the privilege to design and redesign and evolve it. We are children of God. We are the face of the Christ. Myrtle says we have the privilege of thinking good thoughts that are in line with the law of good, or thinking adverse, selfish, destructive thoughts. So we must learn to bring forth beautiful, harmonious, prosperous destinies by using the formative power of thinking wisely. Of thinking wisely. Another quote from Myrtle: through proper discipline, mind could be trained to focus on the thoughts and ideas that produce health rather than illness, plenty rather than poverty, and satisfying human relationships rather than unhappy ones. So what is the truth about you? What brought you up to this moment in your life? Where are you going from here? How does that look? How often do you ask yourself that question? How often do you think the thoughts of who I am? What is my gift to the world? You know, most of us in this room are of the age where it's really important for us to have some idea of where we're going, where we're headed. You know, why do we want to go through all this? So get to know yourself a little better. See if you can answer some of these deeper questions. Talk to a friend about them. Just bring them out in the open. Myrtle says, instead of letting your thoughts run along the lines of materiality, when you're busy with daily chores, as well as when you pray, use I am truths. Make them an established part of your consciousness. The more you think about your I am Christ self, the greater will be the realization of your innate righteousness and purity. When people would come to her and ask her, hi Myrtle, how are you? And she says, I am. She says that she would encourage us to use Jesus I am statements. To say, you know, to keep yourself from going down the thought manic highway, to say, I am that I am. I am always with you. Be still and know that I am God. I am the health of my people. I am the resurrection and the life. And the last quote up by Myrtle today is, when all God's children learn the law of righteous thinking, thinking only according to the truth, the whole earth will be redeemed. And I repeat, when all God's children learn the law of righteous thinking and thinking only according to truth, the whole earth will be redeemed. And I believe that that's the truth. Well, God bless you, and amen.
So lovely. Myrtle Fillmore. So do you guys remember that movie that Tom Cruise, I don't even remember the name of the movie, but you know, you had me at hello. Do you remember that saying? You had me at hello. Well, you had me at he did it for me. It's like that, just saying that, he did it for me, just opened my heart so much. And I really appreciate what you said. I really appreciate you were streaming Myrtle today, and for those of you who haven't read Myrtle Fillmore's letters, they are online and they are categorized by topic, and they're just a beautiful way to like enter into meditation if you have something on your heart or whatever. To me, Myrtle is like the heart of unity, and Charles is the brain, you know. So those of you who are inspired by intellectual thinking, go read Charles Fillmore. But if you want your heart to be open, Myrtle is that one. I mean, certainly there's others as well, but that was so sweet. I'm just deeply, deeply touched. All right, so we are going to pass the baskets as we always do. And for those of you who are joining us from live stream, if you are inspired or interested in supporting this ministry, the information is on the screen for you to do that. So thank you.
Is it okay if I say, "Yeehaw"? Thanks so much for that talk. The truth sets us free. A new dawn is coming to set us free. A new dawn is coming for you and me. Clouds have parted, sun is shining too. Today, everything new. Take a look at what surrounds you. Tell me what you think you see. Hear the words as you describe it. Are you frightened of what might be? Maybe a change in your perception might be the next thing you ought to do. Just ask your God for some guidance, and you can see everything new. A new dawn is coming to set us free. A new dawn is coming for you and me. The clouds have parted, sun is shining too. Today, everything new. Glass half empty, glass half full. The choice is yours right now. If you don't believe that's true, ask God to show you how. A new dawn is coming to set us free. A new dawn is coming for you and me. The clouds have parted, sun is shining too. Today, everything new. Yeah! A new dawn is coming to set us free. A new dawn is coming for you and me. The clouds have parted, sun is shining too. Today, everything new. Hey, the clouds have parted, sun is shining too. Today, everything new.
It's a hootenanny. Thank you. Let's receive the offerings. So we always have, when the offerings come forward, we always have the prayer box be raised. So let's just see those prayers, those intentions in there raised up to the light. For we know the truth that a new dawn is coming for all of us, right? We know the truth that all of those needs are met in spirit. And we also know that our needs are met in spirit. And so let us just proclaim our love offering statement together. Divine love in, through, and as me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Amen. Thank you, Doug. All right, so the prayer box will be in the back, and I invite you to take the opportunity to place any intentions you have into the prayer box, or if you are not here in person, feel free to call the church office and leave that message of what your prayer intention might be, and it will be prayed on for 30 days here by our prayer team as well as Silent Unity. So see that as a gift to you to place those intentions there. Thank you. All right, I have a couple announcements. This one, still the one, you're still the one. We have a special celebration that's going to happen here on February 12th. It's not going to be a conventional Sunday service, but it's going to be a celebration of love, really. And so as a part of that, she's inviting any couples who are interested to renew their vows on that date. So, so yeah, if you're interested and willing, call Stephanie Michelotti. If you don't, here's her phone number right there, 509-768-0449. And that will be live and in person here on the 12th of February. So what a great opportunity to contemplate that possibility. All right, also, the South Hill Church on the 11th of February, 7 p.m., a jazz fest, a jazz celebration called Love is All Around. So it's really a swing jazz, and it's featuring Heather Villa, who is David Sharp's daughter, Joan Polzine's daughter, if you know Joan. Anyway, she has quite an amazing voice and quite an amazing jazz band, so take that opportunity to get tickets for that on the South Hill. I think you can get them online, Unity Spokane. If you go on their website, you can see the link to get those online if you're interested. Okay, so this is the other thing, volunteer opportunity. I'm trying to think of a good acronym for SOS, but it's not coming to me right now, but something about sunshine, right? She's got a sunshine there. So we're interested in having new energy, new people volunteering to be platform assistants. I can tell you that this is a very an open opportunity to see your life transformed, because standing in this energetic space is so renewing, and the way that thoughts come through us when we're part of these services, it's like we're all in sync. You know, we're all playing different instruments in the same song, and we're tuned to a different key, right? But it's how things come through us. We don't have any conversation. We don't have any specific, intention that we set, but Spirit comes through us all, and it creates this service that seems to be all on this one wavelength, and it's such a divine opportunity to be in that. So consider that if that's something that you'd like to do. And trust me, if you are afraid to speak in public, this is such a safe place. This is such a safe place to try, because we are not in class being graded here. We're not getting A's and B's and F's here. We are all supporting each other. So when you enter into that relationship of being on that platform team, on the Sunday service team, it's like your life is open, right, to be fed. So it's just a place to be filled and to just allow yourself to grow. If it's something that's speaking to you, please take the opportunity to do that, because there is a need, and because also it's just a cool opportunity. I've really been fed by it, so I really invite you to consider that. Oh, I have another announcement. Rich? There is totally a script. Yes, we have a script. We do update the script periodically, and it is open to your spirit to guide you to change the script if something comes through you. But yeah, we absolutely have a lot of little cues that help people to follow the service. So I have a personal invitation. I'm going to be tap dancing next Friday. I'm not going to be tap dancing alone, but a whole group of my now girlfriends, about 40 of us, are going to be tap dancing at Corbin Senior Center, which is off of Monroe on Cleveland. It's about a block east of Monroe on Cleveland, 6 o'clock on Friday. It's a fundraiser for Corbin. So there are tickets to be sold. It's $5. Children are free. And it'll probably be a little over an hour of just seeing old ladies like me in pure joy. So what more is there, right?
That's it.
So I have found my joy, and my joy is tap dancing. So if you want a little entertainment or maybe a good laugh, Nikki. You can get tickets at the door. Yes, absolutely. If you want to get tickets in advance, though, talk to me and I can get those for you. So, yeah. Please come. Please come. Please consider, we even would take tap grandpas. So there's an opportunity for you, too. We have one, but it'd be great to have like 5 or 10, right? So thank you for your consideration in that. And now let us welcome the children.
We are walking in the light, in the light, in the light. You are walking in the light of God. In the light, 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 in the light of God. We are walking in the light, in the light, in the light. You are walking in the light of God. In the light, 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 in the light of God.
Hello. Thanks for coming up. You're fine. Are you nervous? It's okay. Tell me your name again.
Amalia.
Amalia. I've met you before, but you were tiny. You don't remember. All right. What do we want to talk about today, Kendra?
Oh, here comes one more. We continued our lesson this week on God is everywhere. So that's been our lesson for the last couple weeks. You guys want to raise up your pictures you made of the universe? Because we're talking about how God created the universe. And then we also learned the prayer of protection today and made a prayer box, just similar to the prayer box that you guys have. But the kids get to take them home and put their prayers in the box, or take a prayer out if they want to say a certain prayer at a certain time of day. So everybody decorated a prayer box, and we did the prayer of protection. This one's Evan's. He decided he wants to color it at home. Evan, can you hold this? And then we also learned a unity affirmation to go along with God is everywhere. But people are feeling kind of shy. Does anyone know what the affirmation was? Remember, it kind of rhymed. There's no
spot
where
where God is not.
Alicia, want to welcome her to our church. Elizabeth and her family brought her today, and she would like to come back.
Nice to meet you. All right. So you kids, we do say the prayer of protection at the end. So you now know how to do that with us, right? No? Do you have it written down, though, don't you? Yeah. So when we do it together, you can read that, and that will be great. All right, so let's stand and join in the peace song. So we just make a circle, and we're going to sing that. Let there be peace on earth together.
that was meant to be with God as creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my daughter's vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
Woo! All right. Good enough for me. Oh, prayer for protection.
Here we
Let's
go.
say that together.
The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us.
Wherever we are,
God is, and all is well.
Hey, hey.
I see leaves of green, red roses too. I see them lean for me and you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see skies of blue, clouds of white, dark blessed day, dark sacred night, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of the people passing by. I see friends shaking hands and how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. I hear babies cry, I watch them grow. They'll learn much more than I ever know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Yes, I think to myself, what a wonderful